now there's another story coming out of this game, and it is the special whistle, or lack thereof, that A'ja Wilson is getting. And this isn't the first time.
When a reigning MVP starts looking more like a sore loser than a superstar, you know tensions are high. Las Vegas Aces icon A'ja Wilson has officially reached that boiling point. In a heated clash with the upstart Indiana Fever, Wilson's frustration boiled over, culminating in a dirty play against rookie phenom Aaliyah Boston that has everyone in the WNBA talking.
The moment right here was so egregious, man. I just wanted to point it out. I had to point it out, dog. There was no way, all right, that you can't tell me that the A'ja Wilson whistle isn't a thing. I remember this specific moment, right, where Aaliyah Boston was backing down, trying to put the ball back up, and A'ja Wilson gets a jump ball after wrapping her arms clearly around from the backside.
To make matters worse for Wilson, her Las Vegas squad is slumping badly, while the Fever keep rising even without their injured star Caitlin Clark. The result? Wilson's antics have been exposed, her team is faltering, and the narrative of the 2025 season is taking a dramatic turn.
But the Aces looking a little long in the tooth there in Vegas. That team, that core, just kind of sputtering at this point in time, slow-footed, and that's where I thought that the Fever could take advantage of the Aces, and they did, and Indiana moved quickly. They moved with purpose. They get another big game from Kelsey Mitchell in this one, who continues to just prove that she is a baller, a hooper, and a bona fide
The Indiana Fever have owned the Las Vegas Aces lately, a statement that would have sounded absurd a year ago. On July 3rd, the Fever demolished the defending champion Aces 81-54, snapping a 16-game losing streak against Las Vegas. This wasn't a fluke either.
Aaliyah Boston was just throwing the ball at the basket and hoping for the best, but she locked down A'ja Wilson today. She completely outplayed A'ja Wilson. I don't care what the box score says. She completely outplayed A'ja Wilson. And if she just made a couple of those bunnies, this wouldn't have been a close game at all.
3 weeks later, Indiana beat Vegas again 80-70 on July 24th, clinching the season series 2-1 despite missing their best player, Caitlin Clark. Each time, A'ja Wilson simply could not carry the Aces to victory. She's tried to, dropping 29 points in that first blowout loss, but got almost zero help. Her teammates shot a combined 16%, and no one else scored more than 6 in that game.
Indiana Fever without Caitlin Clark go up against the Las Vegas Aces and last year's MVP, A'ja Wilson, and walk away with a W, 80-70. That player right there, Natasha Howard, she came alive in the third quarter, dropping 11 points in the third quarter, giving us the lead, a 27-point third quarter without Caitlin Clark. Who would have thought this team can score over 20 points in a quarter without Caitlin Clark?
Wilson has been visibly agitated, jawing at officials after whistles and letting out sarcastic laughs when calls didn't go her way. At times, she acted like the main character on the court, protesting every bit of contact, but none of it changed the outcome. The Aces still lost again and again.
The WNBA referees look at A'ja Wilson literally mugging somebody, literally reenacting the now infamous Coldplay concert hug heard around the world that had 9 million memes made about it over the last week, when she's literally remaking that on the court by just mugging Aaliyah Boston. Oh, shit. Them WNBA referees turn into Ray Charles. They swallow their damn whistles.
If you are enjoying, please subscribe. It's clear why Wilson is on edge. Las Vegas has arguably been the WNBA's best team ever since drafting her in 2018. They've won 2 championships in that span, so a mediocre .500 record is not what she expects. Yet after the latest Fever defeat, the Aces sat at 12-12, looking up at the Fever's 13-12 in the standings. That's right, Indiana, a team that hadn't made the playoffs in years until last season, is currently ahead of Las Vegas. Wilson is, by all accounts, fed up with her team's form this season, and as her frustration mounts, it's manifesting in some ugly ways on the court.
Okay, A'ja was terrible. Like, absolutely terrible. I don't care that she had 20 points. The fakest 20 points ever. She was terrible. She was absolutely terrible. Like,
The flashpoint came in the July 24th matchup, and it was impossible to miss. Early in the second quarter, Fever center Aaliyah Boston got the ball down low and battled for position against A'ja Wilson. Boston was fighting to make a move to the basket when Wilson came up from behind and clamped down on her arms. For a good 10 seconds, the two jostled and grappled in the paint. Finally, a whistle blew. But incredibly, the referee called it a jump ball instead of a foul. Boston was irate. She immediately turned to the official and protested, "She came from my back." Even the TV commentator chimed in disbelief. When you get someone from the back, it doesn't usually get you a jump ball. In other words, by all appearances, Wilson had mugged Boston, yet got away with it. The smile on Wilson's face after the no call said it all, as if she knew she'd gotten a gift from the refs.
A'ja Wilson, she gets the left hand on the ball, right? Slaps down, get her hand on the ball. Okay, cool. Still got it. Now, right here, watch this right hand now. Look at this right hand, y'all. Right hand grabs her, okay? Right hand grabs she knows she cheating. Look, she's smiling. She knows she cheating, y'all.
Fever fans were livid at the sequence, and they took to social media to call it out. They pointed out that Wilson seems to get favorable whistles on the regular. Wilson gets away with these fouls all the time, especially against the Fever, another fan observed, noting this exact scenario had happened before. In fact, in a July 4th meeting between the teams, Wilson similarly came over a Fever player's back. That time it was Lexi Hull trying to steal the ball. And once again, the refs inexplicably called a jump ball instead of a foul. Deja vu, anyone? It's a pattern that has not gone unnoticed, and Indiana's loyal supporters are furious. The A'ja Wilson whistle, as some call it, has sparked debate about inconsistent officiating across the league, with even Fever coach Stephanie White publicly criticizing inconsistent officiating this season. To add another layer of irony, recall that in the team's first matchup back in June, Wilson was the one accusing Boston of bad behavior. Camera footage caught A'ja barking to Aaliyah, "Flopping, that's all you do," after Boston's reaction drew a foul call on Wilson. In Wilson's eyes, Boston was acting, selling contact for calls. Fast forward a month, and it's Wilson who's essentially body slamming Boston from behind trying to prevent a score. The tables have turned. The dirty play came from A'ja, not Aaliyah, and everyone saw it.
Let that happen. Let somebody even breathe on A'ja Wilson. I don't. I can't whistle. You get the point. I mean, they're hitting a buzzer. The pressure luck buzzer. The whammy starts coming out. All right, the whammies start coming out because A'ja Wilson going to the free throw line. She going to the free throw line. That's all there is to it.
Wilson's rough tactics have been exposed to a national audience, and it's not a good look for the two-time MVP. The Fever did get the last laugh that night by winning the game, but the controversies overshadowed even the final score. And it's not just the Fever feeling A'ja's wrath. Literally, the very next game, on July 25th against Minnesota, Wilson's frustration boiled over again. In the first quarter, as she jockeyed for position with Lynx All-Star Kayla McBride, the two briefly got tangled, and Wilson responded by shoving McBride with two hands, sending her sprawling to the hardwood. McBride hit the floor hard. The punishment? Just a common foul on Wilson. No ejection, no flagrant, much to the disbelief of Minnesota fans. While there didn't appear to be prior bad blood between Wilson and McBride, that little exchange might have just started some. A'ja Wilson is developing a reputation for these outbursts of physical play, and opponents are taking note. As a result, referees and league officials are under pressure too. How long will Wilson be allowed to push the envelope before real disciplinary action comes?
Look at this. Smiling at it. Look. Just a grinning. Look at this. What in the world's going on, man? Wrapping around her, hugging her. She knows she cheating. Look. And getting away with murder, bro. Diabolical work. Look at this. Hugging her. She is hugging her, fam. Oh, my goodness. What? Hey, ref. At this point, man, she need to take her out to dinner, man. Take her out to dinner at this point, ref. What's going on?
Indiana's leader has never been shy about showing emotion on the court. Lost in all this drama is the fact that Indiana has been playing without the most electrifying rookie in the league, Caitlin Clark, yet still knocking off A'ja's aces. Clark, who has been sidelined for several games with a left groin injury, has had to watch these battles from the bench. But even injured, Caitlin's competitive fire burns hot. In a recent game, a Fever win over Connecticut, Clark needed to be held back during a heated confrontation with a referee, despite not even being in the lineup. With 4 minutes and 33 seconds left in the third quarter of that contest, as officials reviewed a disputed out-of-bounds call, Clark was seen jawing at referee Mike Price while hobbling back toward the bench. Assistant coach Brianne January had to pull her away. Even then, Clark wasn't done. Moments later, she was yelling across the court at the refs again, "That's just rude! Grow up! Come here! Come here!" Unbelievable. This is the kind of passion and leadership the Fever are missing on the floor while Clark heals up. She's just a rookie, but already Caitlin Clark is the heartbeat of the franchise.
Uh-oh. Wonder what he said. Oh! She was about to run over there.
I'm not a good lip reader.
What did he say?
I got it, but I don't want to read card 99.
Huh.
She said basically, "Are you kidding me?" to Michael Price, and that was Brianne January, who is.
She said, "That's just rude.
9
Grow up."
years in Indiana.
Oh!
On the staff.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
a live shot now of Caitlin Clark.
What's the issue? What happened?
He's still upset and wants an explanation
Ooh.
from Michael Price.
She's gonna be calling him. He's like, whatever.
Last year, in her debut season, she took Indiana to the playoffs for the first time since 2016, shattering expectations for a team that had been a league doormat for years. Clark proved she could carry a team on her back, leading Indiana in points, assists, and steals, and showing maturity beyond her years. As one season review noted, many players might have folded under the pressure and hype, but Clark tuned out the noise and established herself as arguably the best point guard in the league, even as a rookie. The so-called Caitlin Clark effect saw the Fever set attendance records as fans flocked to see her play. Simply put, she's a franchise-changing superstar, the kind of player who can single-handedly elevate a team's ceiling. Knowing all that, imagine how it feels for A'ja Wilson right now.
Another nice sight for the Fever to see was this from Cece hopping off the bench. You don't want to read too much into it, but it's something, right? Obviously, she gets a little frustrated with the officials, and Stephanie White was frustrated with the officials in this game as well. But you see Caitlin hop right to her feet there with no hesitation. Right up. That, again, you can be injured and that can happen, but not moving too gingerly there on the sideline was Caitlin Clark, which is another positive sign.
Last year, Wilson was the MVP and won her third championship with a loaded Aces team. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark was a newcomer, turning a lottery team into a playoff qualifier by pure force of will. Fast forward to the present. Clark is temporarily out, yet her Fever are still finding ways to win without her, toppling giants like New York and Las Vegas. Wilson, on the other hand, suddenly doesn't have the luxury of multiple all-star teammates performing at a high level, and she's struggling to carry the load. Her frustration with that reality has spilled into shouting matches, dirty plays, and constant chirping at refs. It's a stark contrast in leadership styles. Clark's fiery competitiveness lifts her team's energy, even from the bench, whereas Wilson's boiling frustration seems to be dragging her team down.
Aaliyah Boston's like, come on now. Let me just run it. She's mad as hell. I don't blame her. I mean, I don't blame her. Look at this. Look at this. What are we doing? Referees, where are the officials? Where? Then comes the loving embrace. Where are the officials? Look at that. Look at Asia's face. She knows the referees are going to give her the whistle. She knows it. Look at that. Yeah, look at it. Look.
One of the big storylines emerging from this saga is the comparison between A'ja Wilson and Caitlin Clark in terms of carrying their teams. Wilson is a two-time league MVP and a WNBA champion, a proven superstar, but this season is testing her in new ways. The Aces have been depleted by injuries and player departures, and Wilson has been forced into a one-woman show on many nights. She's still putting up gaudy numbers, over 22 points, 9 rebounds per game, yet the Aces keep losing. In that 81-54 embarrassment to Indiana, Wilson scored 29 points on efficient shooting, and the rest of her squad managed a measly 25 points combined. She took a 531 team from 2023 and turned them into a playoff team in 2024. As a rookie, she led the Fever in almost every category and never shied away from the moment. Clutch shots, fearless drives, barking at veterans on the court. Clark established a culture of competitiveness in Indiana that had been missing for a long time. Her efforts paid off with a postseason berth, the Fever's first in 8 years, and a Rookie of the Year award. It's no wonder the Fever players rally around her. Even while injured, her presence on the bench, standing up and shouting encouragement or critiques at the refs, fires up the team and the crowd.
Got Caitlin Clark sitting right here, man, after I think it was a tough shot by Aaliyah Boston and nothing was called. Let's take a look at this, man. Look at Caitlin Clark jumping like crazy. Oh my goodness. Caitlin, you have to sit down, man. Sit down. Oh.
So when Wilson and the Aces faced the Fever without Clark, many assumed Vegas would roll. Instead, the opposite happened. Indiana outworked and out-hustled Las Vegas, revealing the cracks in the Aces' armor. Players like Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, Natasha Howard, and Nalissa Smith all stepped up by committee to fill Clark's void, showing off the Fever's depth and heart. The Aces, by contrast, looked disjointed and overly reliant on one star. Wilson could get her 20-plus points, sure. She had 20 in the July 24th loss, but it didn't matter. The Fever were the better team, plain and simple, in back-to-back meetings. This has to sting for Asia. It undercuts the narrative that she's the ultimate team carrier. In fact, Wilson got a taste of what Clark dealt with last year, facing a strong opponent with little help. And unlike Clark, Wilson couldn't will her squad to the finish line. With the Aces hovering around .500 and looking nothing like contenders, MVP voters have turned their eyes elsewhere. Chief among the new favorites is Napheesa Collier of the Minnesota Lynx. A'ja Wilson's frustrations and dirty play on Aaliyah Boston have shown that the balance of power in the WNBA appears to be shifting. Wilson's Aces look vulnerable, her MVP reign is under threat, and her temperament is raising eyebrows. On the other side, the Indiana Fever, powered by a fiery young star, are on the way up, playing fearless basketball and gaining respect league-wide.